gentlemen, it's me, Tim Crofton, and I'm on a crazed quest to cook a dessert from every country in the world. I'm going about it alphabetically, and today we've made it to the L's, and we're in Lebanon today, and I'm going to make a super tasty deep fried dish called a Maakaroun. And it sounds like a macaroon, doesn't it? But it's spelled very differently, and it's M-A-A-K-A-R-O-U-N. A macaroon, I think. And you know, the inspiration behind this is what's so lovely about this project is that on my Facebook page I asked pals to send in their recipes from home, and you know, someone I didn't even know who came from Lebanon said, oh yeah, this is what my granny used to make, you've got to make a macaroon. And that person is Medina Khan, who, I can't believe it, but we went to university together. I mean, I'm trying to think how many years ago, Medina? At least 25, probably nearly 30, I don't know. That would make you a bit older, Medina. I can't even start to imagine that. Anyway, this is for Medina. Let me show you what we've got. In fact, I can go through the ingredients as I plop them in the bowl, because everything you see here, more or less, is going to be mixed together to make the batter for the macaroon. The macaroon is then deep fried, and then we're going to douse it in a divine sugar syrup with rose water and orange blossom, you know, that divine Middle Eastern thing. So, what we are going to put in is we have a cup, eine kleine Kapperleiter, of that semolina that in there. On top of that, I'm going to put a cup and a half of flour. There you go. And on top of that, what should we go? Oh, I'm going to put half a cup of sugar. I make it look so easy, don't I? And then what's going to go in next? Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of baking powder. I'm not totally sure how much of this I put in. It says half a teaspoon, so you just don't want to overdo it, because then they'll puff up out of control. But there we go. I always like to put a little bit more, because better a big puff than no puff at all. So there's the baking powder. Then what else have we got? I am also going to just pour in, this is vegetable oil, half a cup of vegetable oil, in you go. And then I am going to put in a teaspoon. I'll put that teaspoon away. I'm getting you straight back out, you naughty thing. I'm putting in a teaspoon. I know this is a tablespoon, but I live dangerously. It's about a teaspoon of anise. In you go, naughty. And then the last thing I'm going to slap in is probably something. I always think of this as being more of an Indian ingredient, but there's no reason why it can't be used anywhere, particularly in a macaroon. But this is fenugreek. Gosh, it's got an amazing smell. It really is incredible. But I don't recommend you overdo this, because I think it's quite strong. But I'm using powdered fenugreek. The seed, as you know, is it's like a grape seed, about that sort of side. But anyway, about a quarter of a teaspoon, actually that's more like half, so I'm going to not be too risky there. In that goes. So that's that, and I am going to start stirring it all together. The only other thing that is going to go in here is going to be my water. I've got about half a cup of water I'm going to put in here, and I'm going to knead it together so that it stops being sticky, but doesn't, you know, you don't it doesn't become overly, what am I trying to say here? It doesn't become overly something. But anyway, we'll get there in a minute. Okay, so look, it's starting to come together quite nicely, actually. That's a nice dough, but I think at the moment it's not quite, oh, I don't know. I'm going to give it a bit more water. Give it a bit more. There you go, sploshy von sploshy. And Needy von Needy. I was really delighted to see when I put the call out for desserts in Jordan. Sorry, Jordan. I beg your parsnips, Lebanon. There really are, it's really quite a centre for desserts. I mean, look, of course, the Middle East has all sorts of divine desserts, and some of them, you know, we've made on the show here, but I haven't realised quite how deep the dessert desire in Lebanon ran. Really are so many. Of course, there's the baklava or the baklava, or however it is you say it, but and you know, the really popular Middle Eastern dishes, but so many other ones, and this is one I have definitely not heard of. I think that is looking like a pretty nice dough. And as is often the case with the dough, you want the gluten in it, the strands, to sort of become more stretchy. So that comes from just leaving it to rest for a while. So that is what I will do. I'll leave it there. Put 2.5 cups of sugar, and then in that I'm putting 1.5 cups of water, and I'm going to let it boil. I'm using the same spoon, give it a clean. Just letting that boil until it dissolves. Once it dissolves and it's thickened up a little bit, so it's a little bit more syrupy, I'm going to add a teaspoon of lemon, a teaspoon of orange blossom water, and a teaspoon of rose water. I don't know about you, I love rose water and orange blossom water. Give me a second, there's someone at the front door. I'll be back in a tick. We've got some biscuititos. Isn't that nice? Some biscuititos. I made some meringues for a neighbour the other day, and she very sweetly, she's got her name's Susie, and she has a philosophy which I think is a really lovely philosophy. She says if you ever bring over a cake and leave a plate, you can't bring it back empty. So she's always so sweet about bringing different things over. Anyway, biscuitito, because we're in New Mexico, right? We're in Albuquerque, and at the moment look at this. We are I'm celebrating the balloon fiesta, which is going on at the moment. Okay, so my syrup is coming to the boil here, and I'm going to let that simmer for a little while. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the sugar syrup, and then I'll come back and we can deal with the dough. There's something a little bit special that we do with the dough. Gives it a rather funky twist. But let me finish this off quickly. Let's squeeze in about a teaspoon. I don't know, it's probably a bit more, but no one's going to get hurt, are they? And that goes in the El Compostito. And then I'm going to put a little sploshy of orange blossom. Really, truly don't overdo it. And then a little bit of rose water. Really, truly don't overdo it. Give that a stir. And yeah, I'll see you in a minute. Okay? What you're going to do is you're going to take about, you know what they always say, it's about a walnut size. That looks like about a walnut, doesn't it? I think so. And it then says to squish it on the side of a grater so that it gets a texture. Maybe. I'm not totally sure about this. It's got a bit of a texture, can't really see it, but it's supposed to, what you're supposed to do is, whoa, beg your pardon, don't know what that was, I promise it wasn't shut or anything. You're supposed to make it sort of finger-like. I'm going to try a different one. Let's try that side. It's all about texturing. Oh, I don't know, that looks sort of textured. Anyway, I think this bit is optional. You don't have to do it if you don't really fancy it, but I know for a very traditional Maakaroun, it is supposed to have texture, and it's supposed to look like a finger. So there are my fingers there. I'm still working on them. If anybody out there's got any advice on my technique for the texturing, I'd love to hear from you, because truly I'm following the direction from the recipe, but I don't think I'm doing it quite right. So here we go. Get me basket, put me macaroons, my raw macaroons in there, and I hope, Medina, you will tell me if I am really messing this up. So there they are. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to bung them. See, look how good I am. I'm a theatre person. See, I'm not giving my bottom to the audience. I mean, I could, like this, I could be the saucy kitchen chef, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So here are my macaroons, and in they go. Let's have a nice sizzle. Oh, a gentle sizzle. And there they are. And these should go into the syrup for at least a minute. And let's plop them in. And ooh, they're actually doing a tiny bit of a sizzle, which is rather nice. Another warning not to burn my tongue off. And there they are. Look at those little beauties. There we go. And here they come. Oh my goodness, those look a bit of all right. That one looks a tiny bit wobbly, but I think he'll be all right once he cools down a little bit. There's another. So, and I think the next round I might cook just a tiny bit longer, but you can't deny those aren't looking pretty flipping good, hey? And now, the moment of truth, the macaroon from, oh, it's sticky gorgeousness, the macaroon from Lebanon. I'm going to be careful nibble. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. I'm going to have another one. Speechless. That is bloody insanely good. You must try it, and it's not desperately tricky. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for bearing with me. It's lovely to see you. Next time we will be cooking up in Lesotho, a tiny little country in southern Africa. Sorry about, I shouldn't be speaking with my mouth full, should I? Anyway, take care everybody. Thanks for watching. See ya.